Hello friends, neighbors, John your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome to the Nook. It's Sunday, so I'm going to do a bottle opening with you. So it's first tastes of these whiskeys. I don't really know them. I've never tasted them before, so it's kind of like samples, but just getting going. Now, during this short, I opened this one and I tried to open this Stronachie from Rattay, and the cork busted. And then I missed a video opportunity. That's why before pouring it, I wanted to show you this, because I had seen it on YouTube and I should have done it myself. I thought, well, I turned it over, put it in the sink, whacked the back end. Sure enough, the cork and any debris just shot out. The reason why I want to show you is I did lose a little bit of whiskey, but really not that much. So I wanted to say, look, we're going to talk about Stronachie. It's a 12-year-old. It says single Highland malt, which is odd. If it's a single malt, it should be one distillery, but it should say Highland single malt, not single Highland malt. And this is a bottling group, so we don't know the distillery. Almost feels like it's a vatted malt. This is from High Coast. Back here, they were calling themselves Box, but it is the High Coast Distillery. Now, I've already poured this out. This is their, and I will say it wrong, and I apologize. Yeah, Dálvve. Someone let me know in Swedish. It's not Swedish, it's a word from the native people there, the Sami people. Anyways, these will be the single malts that we're talking about. One is an unknown distillery, old bottle in the sense of I bought it a long time ago on a clearance. This old bottle in that, I think they've moved their whole part away from this. So, you know, if you have any of this Swedish malt or this harder to find now, why don't you pour it? Come on back, and we will just talk about a High Coast and Stronachie. Just first thoughts. 3, 4. Thanks for staying with us here. And I know I don't normally say that much in the opener, but I wanted you to know, if you've got a busted cork, because it just busted right off, I whacked the back end. I lost some scotch, but this isn't a very expensive bottle, and that worked way better than digging it out, and then I got pieces in there, and then I've got to sieve it and filter it. Here it just ended up in the sink, cleaned it out. So, you know, this bottle, I don't know if it's available anymore. Every now and then I have seen it. In fact, I know of a place in Sherwood Park that I think still has one on the shelf. It's actually a pretty nice looking bottle. It says 12 years, it's 43%. I don't know if it'll catch, but on the back there's sort of some artwork, which could be the lost distillery, because they talk about this coming from a Stronachie distillery. Now, it doesn't come from that distillery because that distillery is long gone. But maybe this has been selected to represent how Scotch used to taste from that place. I don't know. It doesn't say, so we assume colored, filtered. It is 43%, so it could be without those things, but it just says aged 12 years. We'll give it a nose and taste. Let's see what this, maybe I'm saying that wrong too. Stronachie, I don't know. Let me know. On the nose. Ah, it's sweet, light, sweet sour. It's got a little bit of light lemon curd in there. But orchard fruit. Yeah, it's nice, approachable. We'll see how the palate goes. Right now it's not drawing me in. It smells ex-bourbon-y in that there's a little bit of vanilla in there and a light oak. And then mostly that kind of sweet, sour, fruity. Let's try it on the palate. Told you. Had a little bit more character in the body than I was worried. I was worried it's going to be totally forgettable. Having said that, it's a little bit slight grain. It says malt. I'm quite sure it's all barley, but it's a little bit kind of barley grain, barley nut. So it feels young. It feels like maybe the casking was, you know, used casks, not first fill bourbons, because it doesn't have a lot of caramel or toffees in there. They're there, but they're in the back. It stays distillate forward. It's got a bit of a fruity malt, bit of a, you know, must have been the cut that they took. It's a little hot. It hugs here a little bit. It's a little bitter, a little astringent. And the finish is not that remarkable. Maybe another quick sip. I mean, that's just one sip to judge a whole bottle. Again, these are first thoughts. So here, I'll try this Stronachie again. And that was a little better. It held up a little more character, a little more ginger snap in there, slight orange or lemon. The fruits backed off in the palate. The nose was fruitier and a little bit more floral. The palate is more kind of sweet malt, spice, ginger, that kind of thing for me. So first thoughts, you know, it's not bad. It's not, I know it's got an award back from 2006, but I would say it's running a little bit. Glad I got it on clearance 5 years ago. So the second bottle we just opened and poured. Cork stayed together, but it's an artificial cork, so it wasn't hard. Is this, you know, it says right on their box, but I'm quite sure they were box and now they're high coast, I think. So, you know, this was one of their early single malt releases. This one proudly says non-chill filtered natural color. I didn't catch on here, and I couldn't find it, I think, because it's not part of their core range anymore. I couldn't find its casking, but it is 46%. It looks gentle and light. It looks ex-bourbon, not ex-sherry. Certainly, actually, well, this actually has some legs. I was going to say it's kind of holding to the glass better, but we'll see how this is on the nose and palate. Again, I really don't know if it's Dálvve or Dálvve or Dálvve or Dálvve or anything else. Let me know. I'm sorry I don't. Oh, that's very different. Very different in that it's actually got a little lighter and a little grassier. So while this had some of that grain quality, and right now it's kind of astringent on the nose, like a little bitter. This is definitely, kind of reminds me of Lochleah a little bit, like a little bit of that lowland. They got a bit of grassiness going on. Yeah, definitely, but in a nice way. Like it's light. This has brighter, lighter notes. You know, there's peat in here. There has to be just a little bit of peat. It's not like it's not an Islay malt. Yeah, for sure. There's got to be some peat in there. Because it's got that earthy quality that you get with peat, like not yet smoky or bonfire that you can also get with peat. I just mean that earth, that yeah, that kind of that dirty quality that I think is coming from peat. So let's try this single malt on the palate. Oh boy. These are in a different class. This is really, it's young, it's earthy, it's coating, it's sprightly, it's fresh. It's got a little bit of fruit character, but it also is leaning into that light peat. There's definitely peat in there. It's now smoldery, slight ash. It's not astringent. It's not bitter. It's not medicinal. I'm going to try another sip of this. Stronachie. My understanding, if this wasn't their first single malt, it's one of them. So, you know, not age stamp. I'm guessing it's probably going to be that 4 to 5 years. Now, the pictures show a very significant distillery. This is not a single still, like 4 stills and a washback. Like they've got, it looks like they've got a lot. And even when I saw pictures of where they're racking these barrels, they've got a lot. So this is probably a big house. And I'm surprised I haven't seen a lot more from High Coast because of the images that I've seen. But this is an early release. And it tastes a bit early release, a lot, so much like Lochleah, but this is good core malt. It is a quality release. Like, it's first thoughts, but I have to say, glad I got this on clearance. I actually got this on sale back in the day as well. But I'm going to savor this, and I'm not going to worry about when and how I pour this one. That's just how they're shaping up today. First thoughts. How about you guys? Have you ever done that cork trick? Let me know, because it totally works, and I can't believe I didn't record it for you guys. Have you had this Stronachie 12-year-old? What do you think? And have you had anything from High Coast or this one back when it was box? And how do you pronounce this properly so I don't insult them and their hard work or the Sammer people? Is it Sammer? Samil? Sorry, the native people I don't really know. Sami people. Very cool. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week.